Pasha Paro, YNet7. Thank you for tuning the replay. So, voila. That's how things happen, right? It's been 10 days in the rainy snow, no sunshine. And soon as the sun pops out, so does the green. All right. So let's get some review for everybody for all the stocks that we're ready to just quickly review today. You can look on my channel and there's most likely either we'll say an in-depth breakdown of it, or at least why I'm interested in it, or there's a complete breakdown of the company and everything down to the management team, etc. So you can find them in the past, recent past, because why we're interested hasn't changed. It's just a matter of what it's doing every day. So big board pep for my peeps. You know, it's cool. It's cool what you learn from what happens with you and then with other people, you know. And this is why I like showcasing you know, what I'm actually doing. You see what I'm saying? And I like to see the people, interact with the people, see how they feel, because a lot of us are wanting to learn stuff too, and seeing is believing, right? Now, it's interesting when you talk to some people and, you know, they're like, you know, GameStop. And you're like, oh, okay. They're like, yeah, I made a lot of money off GameStop. And you're like, oh, okay. And then, well, what did you make? Oh, man, a couple thousand. And you're like, okay, good. You know what I mean? Because we all had to start somewhere. You see? So when I post a video and I'm like, yeah, I'm down 2,700 today, somebody might see that for the first time and be like, oh man, this guy lost $2,700. Well, what they don't know is that since October, I'm averaging plus $8,000 a month. Sometimes 15, sometimes 20. You know what I'm saying? So right now, with the quote unquote losses you've seen, we're still averaging $8,000 a month for January and February. If you go back to October, it's more. But I'm just want to use 2021. So after the 2,700, after like the 1,300, after all the red days you just saw, I'm averaging $8,000 a month. Now, what's $8,000 a month? That's $96,000 a year. Now, see, I told you guys this when I told you my goal is $100 to $500 a day. And if you learn how to do that, $100 a day is $24,000 a year, rounded up. $500 a day is $173,000. Now, there's a saying I like to hang on to. There's a saying that I like to hang on to that says, it's a book. It's a good book to read, first of all. And I paraphrase the book from the saying. We're going to get to the stocks in a second. You know, because a lot of lessons come from every day you do this. And then that makes you better for the next day. And that makes you look at things differently than maybe you did last week. So, would I have liked to, let's say, not lose 5K in the last 2 weeks? Sure. Yes and no. Actually. And that goes to this, right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't, I'm still in my target. You see what I'm saying? Like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? But check this out. The thing I like to hang on to is this. And some of y'all are going to write this down and some of y'all are going to not. But for those who write this down, it's going to revolutionize possibly how you view things. And there's a book called it's the finite. It's either called the finite. I got it over there. I'll pull it out for you next time. But it's called the finite versus the infinite game. Finite game versus infinite game, or infinite game versus finite game. And basically what it talks about in short is a lot of people when you're see, a lot of like competition is emotional, because in reality you're only in competition with yourself. No matter if you're playing tennis, football, basketball, your competition is with yourself to play your best game. And if you play your best game, your absolute best game, based on what your strengths are, whatever, then you'll win. It's when you try to compete against the other person that you start adding elements that's outside of your strength and character. Right? So then you're in competition with them. But here, let's go into the point of the matter. The point of the matter is never play to win. I know that sounds crazy. Don't play to win. Play to be able to play forever. We covered this in some other videos on some of the other sections. Okay? Because what it takes to win is unsustainable. Like, what football team, what basketball team, what soccer team, what hockey team has gone undefeated? And I know there's somebody out there going to be like, the 1972, well, they only did it in 72, if that's your answer. So when you look at the infinity of things, right? This is why very few people can stand me any longer than 2 hours. That's why I keep all these videos less than 2 hours, because, I'm just playing. Look, seriously though, they've only done it for that 1 year. If you pick a football team that maybe went undefeated one season, they only did it for that season, right? But the league's been out for 40 years. What I'm getting at is what it takes to win is unsustainable. That's why Michael Jordan now owns a team instead of playing for the team. What it takes to win is unsustainable. So you want to position yourself to be able to play, not win, not focus on winning, right? But being able to play forever. Because when you focus on being able to play forever, you understand that losses will come. But your position is being able to play forever. You see what I'm saying? Like, you go up, you drop a little bit, but you never touch where you came from. And then you go up some more, drop a little bit. You got millionaires that lost all of it, got it all back. I personally appreciate a person more that has lost everything. I've been there before. Because it's not really a loss. You're going through a transition in life. And you had to get rid of the old stuff that you were trying to hang on to invite in the new, to make room for the new. And sometimes if you don't plan to let it go, it feels fucked up when it gets taken from you, but you're going somewhere else and you need to make that space. So I'm the one that in my life, I was like, yo, get rid of that. I'm done with this. Boom. They're like, yo, where's all your stuff? And I'm like, I don't need it. I'm going to get new shit. I'm going to get all new shit. Yeah, you're crazy. You ain't even got a job right now. You're crazy. I'm going to get all new shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to make room in your life for what you know. If you saying you get ready to do this and you ain't preparing yourself to do that, then you don't really believe in what you're saying. I got rid of every fucking thing. I was sleeping on the floor of somebody else's place that they were renting. It wasn't even theirs. They've rented it. I'm sleeping on the floor. And I'm so confident in myself at the time, I was giving them $400 a month rent to sleep on the floor purposely. Yo, man, we can get you the futon. You can sleep. No, I don't want the futon. I want to sleep on the floor so I can get hella motivated. I'm going to learn and I'm going to rebuild. I already learned from everything I did before this. That's why I had to get rid of everything, because sometimes when you want to create the perfect mold after what you learned from the last batch, you got to destroy and get rid of everything so you can rebuild it from scratch the right way. All right. Enough of that stuff. So I got the little quote over here. It happens to be from Will Smith, from that little fireplace guy, right? Website. Give them credit. So it says, there is no reason to have a plan B because it distracts you from plan A. Now, y'all hear me talking about being agile, switching up. 2 months ago, I'm day trading, I'm swing trading. You know what? That's a good thing. I'll say that for the next video. I saw this photo and I grabbed it that gave like the definitions of what a scalp is, what a day trade is, what a swing trade, and then what an investment is. Remind me, I'll put that on the next video. So now, all that is different tools in your toolbox, depending on when you want to use it for what reason. You see what I'm saying? And what I learned from just mastering one thing in life, the law of attraction, and then realizing all the stuff you can do with it, is all the stuff you can do with it. And then people be like, oh, you think you can do anything? What makes you think you can do it? You can't do that. Look, I done mastered one thing. That's it, just one. It looks like I'd be doing a lot of stuff, but I've only mastered or mastering one thing, the law of attraction. Everything else is just a tool of application. So see, I told you guys, it's very simple. This is where you see who ride with you and who don't, but it's very simple. The goal is get yourself to a point where no matter what's going on in the market, you average $100 to $500 a day. Period. So that means when you up, it's the beginning of the month, and you over your average by 10 grand, you can risk 5 because you ahead of schedule. You see what I'm saying? You can give things a little bit more time. You can afford to burn 5 and still be up 5 because you're still 5 from that, because that altogether you're still 4,000 above where you're supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how you gotta look at this stuff. But see, you can't see it like that if you're focusing on winning, because winning isn't a goal. Winning is a moment. And then you have emotional attachment to wins instead of strategy. And then you're chasing that. And then when have you won? When have you won? Is it over once you win? All right. So we're back to, we made some adjustments, and I'm gonna get into why that was so important for me. You know what I mean? We lost a few grand. We'll get it back. It's no worries. I ain't worried about that. So what I was worried about is not knowing what they were doing. And what happens is you need data. You need data to make calculations. At least I do. So to make decisions, I need input, right? So we're going to start with EVOL because I like EVOL, right? Not on an emotional sense, but I know they're going to be a huge factor in the near future. Now, when exactly? If we knew that, we would just put $1 million on it the day before, and it would, you know what I'm saying? But here's where we're at. It did dip out of the little channel yesterday, and because this was such a wide channel, I'm gonna call it a wide channel. It's dollar difference here. Look, we're talking. Where's it at? We're at like 383, and at the bottom we're at 271. So it's over $1 spread on this channel. It's not a tight channel, so that's significant. So when it dropped out, I'm like, okay, I need to see what it's gonna do, because remember, I know this is a little while back, but back in September, we're talking it was $1. So if you got 1,000 shares, you don't want to just drop 2,000 on one stock by itself. I lost 2,700, but that was on that day. I was holding 13 different stocks and like thousands of them. So in the grand scheme of things, like, I still feel like I was good. You know what I'm saying? Considering what the market was doing as a whole that day. But you got to look at the reality of things, because if you don't know the whole picture, then your view is distorted. So you got to know what your plan is. You know what I mean? You got to know what your plan is, because when you know what your plan is, there's no reason to have a plan B, as it distracts you from plan A. That's what I was telling you. We was talking about last week. You know what I mean? I can't tell you what to do once you're already in. In reality, I can tell you certain things, but you had a plan of entry. You need to have a plan of exit. So if you jump in and don't know what to do, you won. But you're winning. What did you win? You see what I'm saying? You got to position yourself to be able to play forever. So, all right, let's get back to some more stocks here. All right, so EVOL wound up coming up 22 cents. So today, and doesn't mean that that's promised tomorrow, but we're easing back into the situation, right? So with that being said, you monitor the situation, you see it come back into the channel. A lot of things are actually rebounding that today with an upward trend. So after it gave about a 10-cent green, I felt like it was going to continue a little bit. So I entered back into EVOL because I really want to keep them in VEON. If nothing else, because of where they're at right now and where they're going to be. Like, these are two stocks that I wouldn't mind hanging on to. But when everything was plunging in the whole world, it would just be stupid to actually it saved some money, because when you got out and it drops, you save $200 here, $400 there. Could have been a totally different day, you know what I mean? So then you get back in and you make a couple $100, you're good. All right, let's go see what else we got here. So EVOL, I know a lot of you guys are fans of CGIX. So if you see, okay, so here was the plan. I gave you the plan, right? But you had to be listening and you had to be watching, because I said this was the line. And I said once it crossed this line, it could easily fall to here, 586, which it did. It touched it. It tried to rebound, got back into the green, and it slid all the way down to 586 exactly, almost. Bounced off of that. Then it came down, which was a warning. I'm looking at it, tried to recover, and then it did a nice slide, and then bam. Now, here's the deal. What I was always saying was, once it crossed this line, like I sold here, 641, right? So those that were with me, and again, this is for your entertainment purposes only. See, I'm giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. right? Everybody else, I can't say they doing that. They tell you buy this, buy, but you don't know what they doing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you need to, but I'm just showing you like my shit's real. You know what I mean? Like I'm not telling you to buy a stock and then talk about it for 30 minutes and then at the end of it telling you, yeah, I'm gonna get into it like in the future. But you buy today. You buy now, and then I'm gonna buy later. Like I'm saying, I'm in the stock. This what happened to me today. Damn, look, I was in it too. I was in it with you. Anyway, look, here we go. So I sold here, which is what I was telling everybody. Look for this line. Yeah, it lost a couple pennies below the line, but I sold here, right around here, somewhere around here, 630, 640, something. Cool. So even if you got it down here at 582, that was the opportunity to get back to 607. That's like 25 cents. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you got 1,000 shares, 25 cents is $250. Then you could have maybe offed it or whatever, protect yourself, right? And then you got down to here, 562. And without this dip here panicking you, or if you bought here, you had an opportunity to get out at 633, right? So that's 60 cents. That would have been $600 at 1,000 shares. Like that's why I'm thinking in my mind. I'm thinking about blocks of 1,000, blocks of 500. If it's a double digit stock, I'm factoring in hundreds because that's easy math to figure out, you know, what you could gain versus what you're risking. So yeah, 1,000 shares, 25 cents, $250. Now, here's the bonus move for you guys though. If you got out at 649 and it drops all the way down to 440, that's $2. That's $2 difference. You see what I'm saying? Like this is why I gave you the playbook. And there's two people. There's the people that listened and the people that was too busy judging me saying, oh, he lost almost $3,000. Why should we listen to him? You don't have to listen to me. Like, you don't have to. You don't have to judge me either. I'm doing my thing. All right? I'm good with this. So if you got out when I said to get out, 640, you had an opportunity to buy back in $2 a share less. So at $1,000 shares, that saves you $2,000. Now that you didn't lose that $2,000, you up two more than you would have been. So like when you see 2,700 red day, oh, that could have easily been 5,000 in one day. Like it's nothing. So 2,700, you up two because you saved the $2 a share. Now you can buy back in because you see it's reestablished itself. It's found the low point. That's what we've been looking for. That's the name of the game. Buy low, sell high. It's being able to play forever. You win some days, you lose some days. If we go back to October, I probably had less than 20 red days since the beginning of October. Like, I don't care. Let's just keep going, right? Because we going like this. We going up. Every month, we up. Or if it gets crazy, we going to pull out and we going to wait. Like every hustler do, you wait for the drought and then you flood it. You see what I'm saying? Like, where y'all at? You with me? All right. So you would have got in. Let's say you knew this was the moment, which is not always the case. But let's say you knew this was the moment just to create the perfect utopia picture. You would have had an opportunity to get back in at 452. And even if you just held on to it, in the after hours, it's at 550. So you would have been up at 1,000 shares, you would have been up $1,000, which really translates to you save 2 from falling and you gain 1. So from that move, you really plus $3,000. Now, if you happen to time this perfectly and you knew the exact points, which I'm not saying is realistic, but let's just for mathematic and entertainment purposes only, say you get back in at 444, all about that work, and then you get out, or 630 is the high, you don't gain $2 almost a share. At $1,000 shares, that's $2,000. So now you didn't lose the 2,000. And you gain 2 more thousand. That's really a difference of $4,000. Because if you lose the 2 and gain the 2, you back at 0. But you kept the 2, and then you bought back in and got 2 more. That's 4. I know it sounds weird to say it like that when you're thinking 2 minus 2 is 0. Yeah, it is that when you lost it and gained it back. But when you didn't lose it, you kept the 2 you would have lost. And then you gained 2 more on top of that. That's 4. If you guys had understood what I was saying, and this is not chastising you, it's saying I don't know how to speak everybody's language. I just know how to speak mine. Okay? I ramble. It sounds like I'm rambling a little bit because I'm trying to give different variations of the same thing. You might be like, he just said that. You get it. But guess what? There's somebody out there that needs our help, that didn't understand it when I said it the first time. So I try to do a little bit, but I don't know how to speak everybody's language. I don't know how to translate to everybody. That's why I trust you guys, because I give it to you, and then you guys can communicate with everybody around you. And then we can all learn this and become empowered. That's why I do this. This, like I said, this is my way to give back to the people. Somebody else somewhere else going to charge you $2,500 to tell you how to do this in a webinar. I'm giving it to you for free. Because this is how one person can change the world. Now, somebody out there was so busy judging me that they saw a red 2,700 that they missed out on $4,000. Oh, you don't know what he's talking about. Okay, fine. Now, for those that still with me, this is where it wants to get back to naturally. It wants to find its way back to right around here somewhere. So we're looking at 715. So now it's at 598. Depending on where you bought in at, right? So here's today. Today starts here. I think I got in about 10:30. So I got in at like 5:14. All right. Even with the after hours, it's not up much if you count the after hours because it dropped a little bit. But it's green. And if I wanted to, I could have made out on over $1 a share on it. But it wants to naturally get back to here. So for people that were asking me, back here, hey, I'm down this much. I told y'all then, when it comes down, if you buy in at the right time and it comes back up, you could, with the right leverage, you can basically negate everything that you down with a few pennies movement down here once you know when it's going to come back up. That's what we've been waiting for. At least that's what I've been waiting for. But the cool thing is, for me, what you'll see me do, if you look back and it starts to drop, I'm like, yeah, I sold, I had 2,500 shares. Oh shit, it dropped like a little bit. Okay. Oh, it dropped a little more, I'm selling. And then I'll buy back in at like maybe only 1,000 or 1,200 the next time. So what happens is I made all this profit with 2,500 shares. Then the moment it does something I don't like, I'm selling it. And then you'll hear me say, oh, I'm back in at but see, you got to know I'm coming back in only at 1,000. So then it drops a little bit. So by the time you add up what was gained here with 2,500 shares, anything that was lost here with like 1,000 is nothing. I mean, it's something, but it's nothing at the end of the day. And then when it does this move, I'm selling, and I might come back in with 500. So by the time it gets down to doing something crazy like this, I might only have 200 shares. All right, let's take a look at another one. So SINT, I'm gonna give it to y'all tonight, cause I don't know if that was YouTube saying no, we're not gonna, you know what I mean, whatever. But you know, so here we go. Here goes SINT, right? SINT's going up. We catching this, we catching that, we looking at it, we watching it, and then it falls out the channel. Woo! It tries to rebound, then it dives again. Woo! So here it comes back. Boom. So this is new because these are the old green boxes that we're waiting for it to get back to. Now here's the cool part. This is where it's at now. Here's a green zone. Here's a sketchy zone. Right? Now the green zone starts at 231. So it's kind of there. Let's say 232. It goes up to 253. Anything above that, if you want to make sure, you need to lock in your profit. I'm not, but this is where it wants to try to get back to right now. Right here, 299 is where it wants to get back to. Now below here, it's got some support, but if it's falling, you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? But it's got some support down here. And that's really, you know, when you look at that, that's only like, what's that? 20 cent, 30 cent, right? 30 cent move. 1,000 shares is $300. You know what I'm saying? 2,000 shares is $600. So, you know, that drop is it could be significant, it could be nothing, depending on who you are and what time it is for you. But here's where here's what we're looking to gain from it. It wants to work its way back to 299, which is 70 cents. So on the bad side, you could lose 30. On the good side, you could actually gain 70 in the near future. And then we're looking for it to get back to this course of action, which will make it intersect this channel and get back on track. Or maybe I'll come back tomorrow and find that it's going to come up here and do something like this, and I'll do another alignment adjustment, like you saw go from the blue, which I told you on that video, I didn't think that was going to be a realistic continuance. And then that's where the green channel came in to give, where it will probably, you know, spend some time in that direction. Like, my shit's calculated, so I don't mind, because pretty much it's doing everything I said it was going to do. Sometimes I give it a little bit more chance to see, but at the end of the day, we're going where we're going because we defined where we want to be. So that's SINT. We already know, like I said, if you want to look at the full video breakdown or the full company breakdown, just scroll through the videos, find the one that says SINT. There's probably a couple of them. One of them is a full breakdown of the company. Let me see what else we gonna do here. TNXP. All I did with this one was just extend my boxes over that I had created before, and you can see it dropped out, which is why I was like, okay, gotta let you go. And then it worked its way back up, so it did its little dance, and then since then it's been back up, so it gave me some confidence. So again, today I bought back in some because we're in my green box, and as long as it does this little dance in the green box, I have confidence in it. And we know we want to go back up here, which is only $1, right? And we know the high was 246 for the 52 weeks. So we know the company as a whole wants to go up. So green box, that's good for me because I defined this earlier. So it's like at a glance for me. You know what I mean? Stop the video if you like to. You can examine the peaks and the valleys. You see they all hit in certain spots based on where my lines are. I mean, we'll get into techniques and stuff I'm using in the future. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. All right, so VEON, this is the one I had first, and then I like it a lot because it's a component of EVOL. They're actually a customer of EVOL, which I didn't know until I did the research on EVOL. So that is definitely a bonus there. As you can see, they're still in the purple area. We want to see them go up, but if we pull back, right? I mean, how I want to do this? Do it like this. See, it's going. So I changed my when I change this, it changes my you know, the lines and stuff aren't exact. But if I put this back on 3 minutes, okay. All right. So now with a little bit of distortion, you can see that it's still in the channel. So we're in the purple, we're in the channel. The bottom of the box is a penny from where it's at now, right? We're good. And this one moves so, like, it's got a lot of little ups and downs, but it really moves slow. In comparison to some stuff, like this is, it's a slow mover. Like a lot of stuff is, a lot of days is, you know. So anyway, that's good, because what that means is it's nice. I interpret that as it's pretty stable, you see. So we go back to the 21st, which I know was only 3 days ago, but it has remained within 73 to 84. You can say within 10 cents. So that's something very stable. If you got 1,000 shares of that, you can feel comfortable that, you know, shit, at the worst case, you might only lose $100 that day. You know what I'm saying? Unless something catastrophic happens, you know? Like here you're at 157, right? But what's this? This is the 29th. And 4 days earlier, you were at 180. So it looks like a crazy drop, but you're talking 22 cents, 23 cents. And then from going the other way, you're at the 29th. And that's the 29th. So 4 days later, you're at 170. So you're up 11 cents. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean by it's slow moving. Like, it's got a lot of little dips and dabs, but over time, it gives you a lot of time to decide what you want to do with it. However, what that tells me also is that this is what you're gonna enjoy. You're gonna enjoy when you weathered that storm for a while, and here you go from the 9th, the next day. So you were at 170 to 189. That's 20 cents one day up. You know, so what happens when it does $3 one day up? You know what I mean? That's gonna be a nice day, and that's the moments that I've been adjusting for, from lessons like with DDD, where I was hanging on to them, in and out of them, still making money on the ups, and then getting out, letting it drop. You know, it might go up from $10 to $11. I make a good little bit and get out because it's coming down. Get back in when it, you know, hit the bottom, but it might be only jumping up between $10 and $11. Then one day it goes from $10 to $25 in a day. So the day you happen to not be in it. So it's not, I'm planning to not succumb to the fear of missing out, but to have a strategy that allows me to be in the position at the right time more often than not. Okay. And that's why, you know, you hear me say I didn't go chase GameStop, because GameStop wasn't part of my plan, even though it went up 100% today. I don't even want no parts of that. Like, y'all can enjoy that, get that. All right. So because right about now, everything on GameStop is not to say like the whole thing isn't being tracked and monitored, but like, all right, enough said with that. So TMDI. Now this one, this one's interesting because it's So I got some levels there for you, because here's the actual where it wants to get back to right now. It wants to get back there. It's got some support. As you can see, it hit this resistance. So it bounced off of 199, basically $2. And when you're up, if you got in right there at that perfect moment, you'd be up 36 cents right now, which is cool, right? 1,000 shares, that's $350. So, you know, you buy back in small or however you feel comfortable, work your way back up. And the cool part is it wants to get back to here. Now, here's why I like this situation, see? Because when it's doing this, it's hard. Everybody thinks differently. Everybody reads differently. Everybody sees things differently. So you might have a specialty in how you look at information, like a stock chart, and be able to read certain things, and that's great for you, right? So for me, it's easier for me to process where it's going when I can see where it's been, right? So when it's been down and it's going up, it's like if it's never been down and it's just going up, then everything to me is speculation. I find it easier, and that's probably, it might be why I kind of got the respect for the people that's, you know, you have to have lost and regained for that, like that next level of shit. If you got stuff and you know, you got your life together when you were 20 years old, and you got married at 21, and you had that, you don't realize that you're dependent upon somebody else, and that's how you've built everything in life, right? Because you've had help your whole life. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, right? What I'm saying is, if all of this stuff gets ripped away from you, are you done for life, or do you come back? You see, because that's when it's realized who you really are. You see what I'm saying? So that's when challenge. If you never faced it before, that's when you're challenged. You see what I mean? So when I don't judge people. You know, I live my life. But you got people that they want to, like, I don't really like, I ain't gonna say I don't really like, I'm not a braggy person. You know what I mean? I'm a Virgo. We go back and forth between spiritualistic and materialistic. That's what we do. We oscillate. And normally what it is that we put in so much work on the spiritual side. We do so much for other people that the Most High, or however you want to look at it, the universe, whatever it is to you, we get rewarded. You know what I mean? So by the time you see me in a Ferrari, you're gonna know I've helped millions of people in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I gotta see if I can fit in a Ferrari comfortably. It's, you know, they be kind of tight sometimes. I gotta get a Lamborghini truck or something. But anyway, by the time you see me pull up in that, you're gonna know that Pasha done helped a lot of people, because he's a Virgo and they bounce back and forth. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, some people, they've never actually been tested. You know, they just, and if you've always had that, if you've always been dependent, then don't ever talk shit about the next person that's doing it on their own. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't be the person that's call yourself married and the don't be the guy that the wife make. I mean, not to say it's bad for the wife to make more money than you. I can't get married, not, you know, the way they do, because that'll change my status. Yeah, that's another story. But so I don't do titles, period. But what I'm getting at is, don't be the guy that's married and the wife makes 5 times as much as you, and you know, you want to put down another person that's building their life up on their own. You know, don't be that person. You know what I'm saying? If anything, be the person that helps lift up that person that's trying to do something for themselves by themselves. But yeah, so that I respect that. I respect when you can lose it all, when you can walk away from everything and just go build it back up again. Because that means it was you. It was never what was around you. You know what I mean? You can, if you did it here, you should be able to do it anywhere. So anyway, this stock is like a testimony of that. So it came up, right? And it went down and it hit this bottom line and it bounced off of it, right? And then it shot back up strong and then it came back down. But what we're looking at zones here. Here's going to be the zones of its recovery. Now, we got to watch it very carefully if it drops below this $2 mark, okay? But basically, these are the zones you want to look for in the future. 35 to 257. You know what I mean? We want to see it hold over 257, and then we'll feel comfortable. Once it holds, you know, the next level is going to be 276, right? Then once it holds that, 290, you know, 293, 292. And then we'll be back up to 310, 313. And that's not to say it's going to just go pow, 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 pow. But these are the lines I want to pay attention to when watching this stock. We know it's Titan Medical. We know what they do. We know it's going to be big money. They're just one news article away from like $15, right? We already know that. So we either hang it in there or not. So when we get out, you know, it's a good thing. You get out, you save this panic, because this is pressure. You know what I mean? I don't care who you are. If you got 1,000 shares, 10,000 shares, whatever whatever level you on with it, and it drops down, you know, that's pressure. You like, oh shit, I don't know what the fuck to do. And the reason is because you don't know where, you can't tell where it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that like pressure. It's not the type of pressure I mean like pressure bust pipes or some shit. It's like it's what are you gonna do? And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sell that shit, because I'm gonna sell it and then I'm gonna buy back in later. And that's gonna because what if this kept falling? You don't know. So you got people out there that's preaching the gospel of, you know, hang on to it forever. You know what I mean? You know, but like I said, if you go back here and you look, we caught a ton of up. So by the time we get up here and it did this, and we sell it and buy half back in and catch this, and we're like, okay, cool. And then we sold, you know, we rolled this back up, we caught all this. You see what I'm saying? By the time it gets to here and we only got like a quarter of the shares we started off with, what we're losing is just a fraction of what we made. So by the time I get here and I sell, it's like, okay, I'm just selling just to get out so I can. It's really more so we can restructure what's going on with the structure of the chart. And again, that goes with the mindset of it's not about playing to win. It's about playing to play forever. We doubled our money, almost tripled it, sold, bought back in, made more, sold, bought back in, lost some, got out, and now we're going to make some more. I mean, but this is where I want to go, 312, okay? And I'm telling you guys this way because I've been reading the comments. I talk to people talk to me, and we got to stop trying to win and start being able to play forever. $100 to $500 a day is a great way to start training the mind, in my opinion, on playing forever instead of waiting on the next GameStop. The next GameStop ain't promised. The next GameStop get you jammed up. The next GameStop might have you on trial, as you see. You see what I'm saying? So if you learn how to do this regardless, then you have a skill that now you can, as long as the world don't completely crash, you might be able to support you might be able to live off of. That's what I want to encourage you guys to do. That's my plan. So why wouldn't I want the same thing for you if I want the best for myself? Let's see what else we got here. Inspire. All right, another situation here. Massive upswing, really good days. For anybody that was in it here, maybe you get out, maybe you don't. It comes back down. It goes back up. So you had, what if you caught all this, sold somewhere in here? Well, realistically, let's say you didn't play the after hours stuff. So you caught it here, you got all this, it comes down, you start the next market here, it drops. But then you're back up, so you're really up, or at least even. Then it comes up, so you have plenty of opportunity to sell. Or if you held, you wind up here one day from from 68 cents to $1.45. Bam! I mean, let's round it off to even dollar. If you got it at 68 cents, you could have had 4,000 shares. You know what I mean? So by the time you get up here, right? Then you sell because you feel like, oh shit, it's crashing, and then you say, oh shit, it's still going down. Maybe you buy back in here like a portion. So by the time this happens, you're losing like 10% of what you made. And then we're just looking for, oh look, we're back into the yellow box, right? So at least we're back into the yellow box, and now it wants to get to $1.17, which isn't incredibly far away, but that's still 15 cents. So at 1,000 shares, you kind of feel like as long as we keep going up, that's $150 you could potentially grab right there with 1,000 shares. So just with the stocks we done talked about so far, you'll get your 2-3 grand back if you just made the one play with CGIX and you flipped it that 4Gs. You really just negated the 27. You know what I mean? Like, this is nothing. It come and go. It's like regular life. You spend it, you get it right back. I mean, I'm just saying, don't go all the way down with the ship. I mean, even if you lose some, find out when it is that you want to get out and get out based on what your plan is. All right, so let me do this here real quick. Oh, I moved it. So, all right. I'm gonna leave that there because I don't feel like fooling with it right now. But you see where this box is. Like, this stuff, like I said, I don't be changing it. I'll just drag it over. I'll zoom in later and drag it over and keep my lines going, because what we were looking for with this one, which is TRXC, back here, we were preparing for it to come into this zone here and then look for it to go here. And we've seen this happen before. It decided to change its mind. Like, you be telling a little puppy, or go ahead outside, use the bathroom, and it'd be like, and then it'd be like, go on outside. It'd be like, no, I'm gonna go back in here, and then you gotta go like grab it and shit and bring it back to the door. Here's what happened. It was like, no, and you went and got it, and then you got close, and it got free again, and you had to go chase it, and then chase it, and if you chasing, but maybe you're just holding because you up a little bit. You don't really matter right now at this point. If we go back for a month on this, you see what I'm saying? Down here when it was $1.50, right? Or 64 cents, right? So by the time you talking about $7 and then you fell off a little bit, you probably sold, you're up incredible, right? So you buy back in at some point, you're holding some more shares, you're waiting for it to go to the door, or maybe you're still holding all of them from the beginning. And then when it does this plunge, you sell somewhere in here. So from 60 cents, you up $5 a share on how many do you have? Right? Okay, so you sell whatever it is. You see, this is the mindset. It's not about winning. It's about being able to play forever. And I can show you this mindset on pretty much any stock. What it is for me is how much time do I have in a day? Because if I had a day to spend with it, I wouldn't have lost $2,700. But I was willing to risk that because I don't have the time right now to babysit them. You see what I'm saying? And with the way those particular stocks is moving, I would cut myself short by selling them with a tighter stop limits than just losing, a G or two here and then getting it back later on. because I'd have accidentally sold it like way before, and then I'd have been out. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's how I look at the shit. So here, you see what I'm saying? So we're in the green, right? We're in this green box, which is basically what? Right back where we were January 21st. You see what I'm saying? So if you sold up here or anywhere before it got back down to here, the green box, my green box says that's a good buy. So, and on top of that, we're almost back in the channel. So see, I'm looking at this like, okay, this is when I buy back in. And then I ride my channel back up, and eventually we're going to get to this green and yellow here. And then we can re-strategize off of that current position based off of the historic data I got. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing. SENS. It's another example of the same shit. You know what I mean? So we did all this. We got up here. We made a killing off SENS, right? 84 cents. We were in SENS early. I think we got in like $1 or something. It was like $1.50 really. And then it took off. Right? Then it did this, and I was like, I'm selling. I think at one point I had like 2,500 shares of this. We made a killing, right? So bought back in another 1,200 and something. It was doing this little dance, was holding steady, and then got a nice little bump up. It hit $5.68. That's $4. I'm saying it comes, it goes. It's just a matter of when do you want to do what. So what my goal is this: you slowly build up to the point where you got enough where you can, I'm a fan. When it's time to go, I walk away from anything and everything. It don't matter. Because I don't have any emotion. I'm missing that part of humanity that has emotional attachments. And it's a gift and a curse. It allows me to make moves and do decisions that other people would never do. And then there's the other side to that, you know what I mean? So, it's a gift and a curse for me. But I don't have emotional attachments. Everything is part of a plan. And it either is or isn't a part of the plan. And I don't mean that like in where some of y'all are thinking. I'm saying if like you're not gonna stop me because of emotional shit. You know what I mean? You can go be who you are. I don't care if you're family or not, like whatever. If you're not trying to get to the point where you can buy a town or buy a city and build a city, then we're probably going to have a conflict of interest at places if you want to stay with the way life is and just keep complaining about whatever. Because I don't care who you are, almost everybody has a complaint about something. And I don't mind listening to that. And you might not I don't even call it complaints. I call it opportunities for improvement. And then I'm listening. And then I'm the type of person that's like, hey, okay, so what are you doing to change that? Well, nothing. We ain't doing nothing. We can't do nothing. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing to try and change. Nothing at all. You just, okay. You know what? Well, what about this? You think about this? You think about that? Because I always like the ideas. It's an exercise for my mind. I enjoy listening to other people's stuff and then running through my process in my mind. It's an exercise for me. And then when I feel like I've given you the solution and you don't do nothing with it, now you've wasted my time. That's a trust issue for me. So we might depart just off of something as simple as that because I can't trust that you are who you say you are because you're telling me you don't like something, but you're telling me you're going to keep doing it. That's insanity. And if you're insane and I'm hanging around you, then I'm going to have to adopt some of your insanity for us to remain in space together. So, I'm really technical, and that's why I'm a Virgo. So getting back to the stock, this one, it comes up, it hits this, it comes down, we see it, boom, right? This was yesterday. It hits the bottom, which is actually this line that I added here, which shows where it wanted to go, right? So I went to where it wanted to go, and I said, you know what, just wanted to see it one last time, and then it came back up. And you know what? It hit this, and we're seeing. But this box here, I just added this one today, this purple and the yellow, and this is kind of like a good, let's call it a magnetic pole for right now. I want to say it's a good stability, but I think that's just more like a magnetic pole, which kind of shows how it came down, it hit this, but then it went right back towards that direction. This is kind of like where it wants to be right now, this area right here. So we want to see it keep fighting, and then also when it came back up, it came back into my channel. So I'm like, yeah, sure. you came back. Sometimes you gotta let things go, and then it gives you the position to welcome them back if you want to when the time is right, or you could just be completely gone forever. Torch Energy is one that we're still waiting on. As you can see, it's got some levels here, and I want to see it fully developed first. I want to see it fully developed. This area here is the actual, I would say, locking your profit area. And this is where it actually wants to be right now. And it's exactly at that spot. So this area here is your comfort zone. And this is called a Fibonacci line with the different levels. And I'll do a video on that for you one day, breaking that down. So anywhere in here is pretty much comfortable. I would watch it once it gets here. And this whole area combined with some other analysis tools, this area is going to be like, it's going to have to put a lot of work in. And then this area here is strong, but it's strong for two reasons. Well, I would say one main reason. One, it didn't spend a lot of time here. So it went up, it had a lot of force building it up, but then when it fell quickly, it fell out. And then this area is really, even though it has some activity there, it's really weak. So it's going to have to work to build itself up. But then these are the levels you're looking at to get back up. So I want to see it make a move to get back into this channel, or at least move back towards the channel, so we can retrajectory the new route. There's going good. Okay. Dare pulled this crazy move on us. We enjoyed that a lot because we were in position. We caught all that. And then it did this long, drawn out landslide. And we kind of was like, you know, what's going on? So we sold, caught some profit, thought we could find some ways to buy back in, sold again. And we've been doing this little dance ever since. So it was in this zone for a long time. And then it came out, fell here, boom, drop. It hit this line here, which is the bottom of a zone. And then it climbed back up. And this is where it wants to get to naturally right now. So that's a good 35-cent jump. So these are your lines I would pay attention to, right? As if the stock crosses them and stuff. This is going to be my buy-in area for it, right? My green down here. And you can go back and watch the other videos historically that we did on there. It's going to be a huge company at some point. Now, FRSX, same thing. You know, we had plenty of history with this one. We made a good bit with this one. We caught a lot of ups. It came back into the yellow. It went down. It fell all the way down to the bottom. And then we see it coming back up. So when it enters back into the purple zone, I'm going to buy that. So I bought that. And see, it's not even about, hey, did you get in at the 681? No, because right then and there, I didn't have confidence on what the hell it was going to do. You know what I mean? Like, it was still, but now I have something that I can measure. You see what I mean? Because here's the bottom, and we've been going in this direction for some time, and I can do some calculations, crunch some numbers. It's kind of like a compressed head and shoulders going on here. I could actually, you know, run some numbers on that, do a calculation. But, you know, you see the trend now, we're moving up. If you got in earlier today, you got a whole 65 cent. I probably got a good 35, 40 cent of that. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good day with this. We'll see how it progress, but these are the levels I'm looking forward to get into. 790, hold that, then 859, 856 area, and then get back up on track. As much as I talked about bingo, because it was just not the right time, because for me, like, we made so much off bingo from down here at 57 cents to $5, $7. I think we got I sold my first bit. Something happened. Was it $5-6? Maybe it was $7. Oh, you know what? This is what happened. Went to $7 and then it came back down, and I sold some at like $5. Cause I remember thinking by the time it hit $5, I was kind of like, I was not really worried with it, or maybe it was here, somewhere along the lines. I sold at $5 something, and then when I was thinking about buying back in, I was really slow with it, and it went up to $7 and came down. So we playing it up and buying it and selling it at it since then. Then by the time it got up to like $10, it like lost interest for me, because it was just such a, compared to getting in at 50 cents, we talked about it, go watch them videos. It was just such a high buy-in at this point in time. It was like, was it worth it? So then it dropped back down. Then it went to, I guess it peaked at like $15, I think, one day. But let's just say 14 rounded up, right? Oh, here you go. So yeah, it peaked at 15.71, right? And at that point in time, we know the company's worth a lot of money, right? In the future, anyway. And now I have something, because remember what I said earlier, for me, when it's just going up, it's speculation. There's nothing for me to gauge off of. This has been a straight moving, well, it ain't straight up, but it's just been a nice up. There's no real gauge. I was gauging stuff based on current activity on a small scale if we zoom in, but when you look at it from this zoomed out, it's actually just going up. So then we finally get to a place where it levels out for some period of time and gives you a tabletop, and now it starts to do some oscillation. You see what I'm saying? So now I can say, okay, it hit 14.15. It came all the way down. Here go my new boxes based on activity today. And if we zoom in here, I can say, okay, here's the bottom. Here's where we're looking for to get back to. That is from $8 to 15. Let's just round it off and say $8, right? Let's say it cut in half by 50 cents. So now, for the people that was holding it, they were at $16. It went all the way down to $8. That's got to be a crazy feeling. But what I'm getting at is, now that I've seen it do this, and I'm seeing it, my new zones here, I'm like, you know what? Let me get in. Let me get some of that. Because here's the levels it's going to go to. And you can see the lines. 1108, and this is where it started to hover around. So the next join it probably wants to get to is 1175, and then eventually it wants to go back to 1307, which, no, that's not the full 1572 off of my current predictions, off my current calculations. But you know what that is? That is $2 a share. You know what? So I'm not going in crazy on it. I'm not getting 1,000 of them, because I don't want to have $11,000 on bingo in the middle of a questionable period of time in the stock market. You know what I mean? So you know what? Give me 90 of them, because give me 100 of them, because that at $2, that's $200. That'll offset if I got 2 other, 3 other, 4 other stocks that maybe go down 10 cent, 15 cent in a day. That'll balance that out. Because remember, my main plays now, my main eyes is on, I like SENS still. I like FRSX, and it gave me a nice, FRSX just gave me a nice premium, because it was at $12. We know where it's going. And it came all the way back down to $7. I mean, and now it's going back up. So it's not, here's the danger. I don't ever say buy the dip, because all this is considered the dip. If you're looking at it at that moment, this is all dip. If you bought here thinking you buying a dip, you still went down another $2 at really $4 basically. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for when it's coming back up. I like to buy things on the way up. You know what I'm saying? So if I buy 200 here, where we go? We got a nice little, let me see here. Now I either know it's gonna happen and I buy in big in the beginning, or I like to buy going up. So if it was here at 420, let's say I bought in here because, you know, I think this might have been when did we get in here? I have to check the other video. I don't even remember because it don't even matter. We're up a lot. So here's where it goes. Let's say you bought in here 417, you get some. Okay, it's still going up. Buy some more. Buy some more. Buy some more. Buy some more on the way up. You see what I'm saying? And then if you get here and it starts doing this, if you have 5 different buy-ins, okay, you might be actually technically losing some money on this top one here. If you bought right here, maybe you lost 20 cents or something on this one, but you got averages all the way up that are all profit. You see what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. I don't like buying the dip as in down. I like buying once the dip curves back up and you can establish the curve up. Even here, like here, boom, if it's coming down like this, and then you can start to see over these, look, this is days here. So over these days, you can start to see that it's going way back up. Then right, you know, somewhere in here, buy back in, because you can kind of, boop, okay, then drop, okay, let me sell here. So now you got from here, 859, 953. That's $1, right? All right, so you get what I'm saying with that. Anyway, so to get back to this, so it came back down, it fell through. It bottomed out, and now it's back into the purple, which was kind of like purple historically is like my little confidence area at some point. So probably back here or here somewhere, probably back here is where it started at. But the purple for me is confidence, and normally, and then the green box is like where you feel like you're gonna be able to make some money at. So that might mean it's just gonna hover in there for a while, which you see it spent some time here. My yellow zone is normally where it's like it's good money there, but pay attention to it because it could go in or out of that box, either up or down, and you want to make sure you're prepared to lock in your profit. So here's it's coming back up. We're in the purple, you know, right about here. About 11 o'clock, you see, I bought a lot of stuff between, you know, at lunchtime, 10:30, 11 o'clock. So then, well, it's prior to lunch, but, you know, take a break or something. That's the cool thing about this. When you have a plan, you can go to break if you're at work. You take 15 minutes and you can execute a lot of stuff in 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So just know what you're dealing with, know your time, know your own life. So here, we're looking for it to come back up now. So you bought back in at $7. Okay. Get a few hundred of them, you know, whereas you maybe wouldn't have done that at $11. And then when you capture this, that's $4 a share right there. All right. So yeah, we got back into BNGO a little bit, and that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. And it would have been a nicer day, of course, if I never sold. But at the same time, I would have lost some. And I mean, nicer day meaning if I never sold, like meaning I had been in like at opening, because a lot of these stocks, probably half of what they went up was between, you know, right after opening. So you could say we missed that, but we didn't miss nothing. Remember, it's not the fear of missing out. I needed it to tell me, decide who it was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what it is. So, you know, could have easily been $1,000 day, but I'm good with the $350. My goal is $100 to $500 a day. We back on schedule, and we still ahead of schedule. Actually, we're gonna finish the month strong. All right, and then we're gonna see what March do. And we're gonna do it again. All right. So that's the mindset I want you guys to start to look at. You know what I mean? Get away from the winning like trying to win. Like that's you know what I'm saying? And start to learn how to play forever, because if you're looking for a GameStop, like you're gonna be looking for a long time for the next one. You know what I mean? And during that period of time, there's a lot of days where you could have had a goal where you made 1 to 500. And if you're chasing, even if your goal is just $100 a day, whatever your goal wants to be for you, you could say it's going to be 1,000. Me personally, I'm working my way up, because today it's 1 to 500, so I can build up. Then when you get to the position where, you know, you got $250,000, $500,000, whatever you want to do, and you can walk away from your if you got a job, if you got a business, whatever. Because even if you got your own business, like, and you're running your business all day long, you're still gotta. That's what you do to make money. You know what I mean? Like, if you actually are doing something where it takes you to do it, once you if you can free yourself from that, whatever it is, whether it's a job, whether it's your business in that case, and you've got the skills to go into this full time and just do this, like, that's another level shit. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm practicing for. So all this now is practice. And the time you take now to learn and get the experience, by the time you do walk away and make this your full-time thing, you'll have a lot of experience and knowledge because you took your time. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be some people that just made a lot of money off GameStop, and it's just like the lottery. You see it all the time. People hit money on the lottery, and then they're back to working jobs and doing whatever it is that the quote unquote regular people do. You know what I mean? So it's because they got there without knowing how to sustain. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't know how to sustain it, you might as well never had it, because it's gonna be gone. So by doing it this way, by taking your time, making your own plans, and doing your own pace, you're building something that you know how to maintain yourself. And that's the difference. So yeah, if you're only making an extra $100,000 a year, or not to say you're actually making it, because it may be a situation where you can't touch it yet. But if you're building 100,000 in your account a year, and 5 years from now you got $500,000, and you know how to do this, you can retire in 5 years. How many of y'all? I don't even know how old you are, but think about how much longer you got to retirement the normal way, and then think about what it would feel like to actually be able to walk away from your job or be totally retired in 2 to 5 years. See that feeling? See how good that feels? That's how good it feels to take your time and not be in a rush and develop yourself. So don't believe the hype. Take your time, develop yourself. Find out what your strengths are. I'm showing you how I see the stocks. You may be a shorter. You may actually understand how to short stocks, and that may stand out to you. So you may be looking at stuff in a totally different. You may find that if you explore yourself, that you perform better when you do this instead of that. You got to find what works for you. And that's what I'm here to help you understand. There's a bunch of there's an infinite amount of ways to do this. Don't let nobody tell you it's this way, that way, or this way. It's infinity amount of ways to do this. Which way you want to do it? Which way works best for you? For me, what changed my life with this is establishing a goal. Because otherwise, you just out there randomly doing shit. And some days you feel great because you win, and if you're emotional, you're gonna feel down and bad because you're gonna feel, on a red day. And more significant how much it is, then you might not understand. $1,000 loss might be catastrophic for you because you don't realize that you up 30 G's. So what is 1,000? You know what I mean? Because you're just so focused on, man, I lost instead of winning, that you missing the whole big picture of you still up $29,000. The Fuck's wrong with you? just take it on the chin and put the next plan together and execute. Like, even Floyd Mayweather got hit. Like, you know what I'm saying? He undefeated, but even he got hit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, come on. Pasha Paro, YNet7. Thank you for tuning. The replay.